Okay, I think I want to watch this video. This is a Lazy Peon upload talking about the insane popularity of MMO private servers before we hop into it today. So yeah, I mean, it's no surprise with Blizzard suing Turtle WoW, and then the Epoch news, and then the Classic Plus, like the hints. It's like, yeah, clearly private servers are kind of on to something. Tons of people are playing. Blizzard's trying to be like, oh crap, we either need to like sue them or like do it ourselves or something, because people are flocking. So yeah, let's kind of see what's going on. Let's take a look.
In 2025, you won't believe how popular MMO private servers are. Some of these games, despite being technically illegal, have been running for years and have higher player counts than a lot of official MMOs. If you don't know what an MMO private server is, it's basically an unofficial version of a game run by fans or third parties. They exist to either provide a different gameplay experience to the retail version, or as a way to preserve games that no longer exist officially. Basically, every MMO has a private server, but it's rare you'll hear about them, as content creators can't stream them on Twitch without breaking terms of service.
So basically, back in the day when Nostalrius was getting going, I think it was like 2015, 2016, like Soda Poppin was streaming Nostalrius. So I started streaming Nostalrius because it's like, holy crap, Classic WoW, like let's just play Classic. Why would we want to play retail? This is amazing. So I hopped on, like a lot of other streamers were hopping on. We were all playing Classic, and then we all basically got like warnings basically saying like you can't stream private servers on Twitch. And what that means is, from Blizzard's end, they can find out who you are and ban your retail account. And it's like, okay, well, why do you care about that if you want to quit retail? But from Twitch's end, Blizzard can give you a DMCA strike, and then Twitch has to take your stream down. So you really can't stream private servers if you get big enough. Now, if you're streaming to some friends with like 10 viewers or whatever, maybe you get away with it for a while, but like you're not supposed to. So if you were wondering why there's not like massive streamers playing Turtle WoW or whatever, that's probably why. So let's keep watching.
Them, as content creators can't stream them on Twitch without breaking terms of service. Despite the silence, the private server community is massive, thriving, and in some cases feel more alive than the official games themselves. In this video, I'll start by explaining why people play private servers in the first place, before diving into the most popular ones, both for today's biggest MMOs and for MMOs that no longer exist. This video was a hell of a rabbit hole to go down and took a lot of time and research to make, so please help us out with a like for the algorithm, and also subscribe for more niche deep dive MMO content like this. But before we begin, a quick word from today's sponsor, SurfShark VPN.
SurfShark.
If you're new to VPNs, think of Surfshark like digital pants. It keeps the important stuff private when you step onto the internet. As I live in Thailand and I like to travel a lot, I'm constantly bouncing between cafes, airports, and hotel Wi-Fi. Surfshark encrypts all my traffic, so snoopers, trackers, and sketchy networks can't peek at what I'm doing. It also lets me virtually travel to 100 plus locations with 3,200 plus servers, so I can watch region-locked trailers, access gaming news sites, or catch shows that aren't available here. What I like the most is their privacy stance. Surfshark has a strict no-logs policy, so your personal info, online activity, and location aren't collected. On top of that, you get a kill switch and private DNS on every server, so your requests don't leak into plain text. Surfshark also blocks ads and helps guard against malware, making public Wi-Fi far less risky for logins and purchases. And for everyday life, switch locations to compare prices on flights, hotels, or even game subs, and often save money. All whilst watching your favorite
SurfShark, there it is, guys.
Buffering.
There it is. That's a big sponsor, massive.
Available where you live, just connect to a region where it's
ads for the ads. He's doing it, man.
Surfshark also keeps your whole household protected with one account on unlimited devices and no bandwidth limits, so your PC, phone, console, and TV are all covered. Level up your freedom and security today with Surfshark. Go to surfshark.com/lazypeon or use code lazypeon at checkout to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN. Try it completely risk-free with the 30-day money-back guarantee, and make your gaming and the rest of your online life safer in minutes.
Right,
so why play a private server? Why trust some random third-party devs with your time, your characters, and sometimes even your money, rather than just sticking to the official game? After all, MMOs are built around a long-term character progression. You pour hundreds or thousands of hours into building a character that, ideally, you can keep playing for years. Putting all of that into a project that could shut down overnight sounds insane on paper. Yet millions of people do it anyway, and the reasons are actually pretty compelling. Let's start with an obvious one: barrier to entry. Some of the most popular private servers are for games that require a monthly subscription fee, such as WoW and OSRS. Even Final Fantasy XIV has private servers, although they're much smaller in scale. A lot of people just don't want to pay a recurring fee every month, or they live in regions where that cost is disproportionately expensive. And it's not always just about subs. Many official MMOs have bloated cash shops with pay to win, or sometimes even region locks. Private servers often go in the opposite direction, advertising themselves as no shop or no pay to win. So not only are you playing for free, but depending on the server, you might actually be getting a fairer experience too.
Yeah, fair
Next
enough.
reason, game preservation. When the official servers shut down, private servers are the only way to keep those MMOs alive. And honestly, who can blame players for not wanting their favorite MMOs to just vanish? It's these kind of private servers that I'd consider the least controversial, with some of them even getting legal blessings by the rights holders, like EverQuest's Project 1999, which has a written agreement with Daybreak, or City of Heroes Homecoming, which was officially licensed by NCSoft in 2024. Preservation servers also tend to be the most stable long-term. Warhammer Online Return of Reckoning, for example, has been running for over 10 years without any major issues. The same goes for Star Wars Galaxy's private servers or Nexus Forever for WildStar. Projects that have basically become the de facto way to experience those MMOs today. Where things get a bit murkier though, are the alternative experience private servers that run alongside MMOs that are officially still alive. These aren't about preservation, they're about reimagining the game. Sometimes that means rolling back to earlier expansions or a classic version. Other times it means adding entirely new content or experimenting with wild custom rule sets, whether it's classic plus style expansions or completely fresh mechanics. These servers exist to give players something the official version doesn't, and in some cases they become so popular that they attract legal attention, resulting in takedown notices or lawsuits from the rights holders. Other less significant reasons why people might play private servers include a sense of community. Many of these games feel more player driven, with community events and tight-knit groups that make players feel heard in a way that you don't get from a massive faceless corporation. There's also the protest angle. Back in 2015, a lot of people joined Nostalrius not just for nostalgia, but as a middle finger to Blizzard for refusing to release classic servers. Even today, plenty of people love World of Warcraft but hate Blizzard, and for them, private servers are a way to keep enjoying the game without supporting the company behind it. So those are some of the reasons why people play private servers, but
it's almost like an indication of what the community wants before massive, big, giant companies can build it, because oftentimes massive, big, giant companies means they're very slow. So it's like, okay, look, this is an indication towards what the players actually want, and then if the company's smart, it'd be like, okay, now let's deliver. We saw it happen to Nostalrius. I think we're seeing it in real time with Turtle WoW. It's like, okay, players are flocking. You know, we saw this kind of to some degree with like Dota, with Warcraft 3. It's like it wasn't a private server, but it was like a custom mode, right? So it's like the players kind of build these things, and if they catch enough steam, it's like the company goes, oh crap, they have something there. And you see it quite a lot, actually.
Which ones are actually the biggest today? Next, we're going to dive into the most popular private servers in 2025, starting with the juggernaut itself, World of Warcraft. The World of Warcraft private server scene is absolutely insane. In fact, some of these servers have so many players that they'd actually make it onto my yearly most played MMOs list if I included them. Turtle WoW. If you ever needed proof that there's some serious demand for Blizzard to make a true Classic Plus experience, then this is it. Because that's exactly what Turtle WoW is. It's Classic Plus with new zones, dungeons, quests, boss.
If Turtle WoW was, I would play the heck out of this, man. If this was legit and I could actually stream this and like Blizzard made it, I would be. I'd be playing a lot of this. I'm not gonna lie, we'd play a lot of that.
Raids and mechanics. It's become so popular that Blizzard have started filing lawsuits against the team.
Yeah.
Before that though, Turtle WoW was reportedly peaking around 44 and 70,000 daily players at one point.
Holy moly.
For a fan project, that's absolutely insane, and those numbers rival mid-sized official MMOs. Another giant in the WoW private server scene is Project Ascension. It's been running almost 10 years and is basically WoW but without fixed classes. You mix and match abilities to build completely custom characters, with seasonal draft modes adding roguelike randomness. Ascension has stayed popular for years and nowadays...
So a lot of my friends right now are playing RuneScape, and I was too, and one of the things that like I heard Savik saying about RuneScape that he loves so much is that there's no classes. One of the pros of no classes is that you don't have to balance anything. Well, I mean, you still do, but you only have to balance one class, right? Because like in RuneScape, if you add new content in, everyone's playing like the same character, right? So you balance that for everyone. In WoW with new content, it's like, okay, we have to balance this for mages and for rogues and for hunters and for pallies and for warriors. Not to say the class system is bad. I mean, WoW is probably the greatest MMO of all time, and quite certainly the largest, at least in the Western world. So it's like, yeah, this is massive. But there are a lot of pros to no classes, right? In terms of content cadence, you can really just like get it out there a lot easier. A classless MMO that I enjoyed in the last few years was New World. I loved it. I loved that you could just like pick up the weapon, build your character around those weapons, and kind of go from there. Obviously, New World had its other issues, but yeah, classless can be very fun. So Ascension, I've never really checked it out, but it seems like a solid concept.
Seems to be more of a private server ecosystem rather than just a single server, which brings us to Project Epoch. Project Epoch is a classic plus WoW project built on Ascension's tech, expanding vanilla with new content whilst keeping the old school feel. It launched in 2025 and the devs reported over 25,000 live connections at launch. But literally as I was writing this video, Blizzard issued a cease and desist to several members of the Epoch team. Whilst the original devs are stepping back, Ascension has stepped in to keep the Epoch realms alive, promising to carry on development with a full roadmap of future content. So instead of vanishing, Epoch is evolving under Ascension's umbrella, which is a perfect example of how the WoW private server scene survives Blizzard's constant game of legal whack-a-mole. Warmane's the final WoW private server I want to mention, and it's actually one of the longest running WoW private servers, best known for its Wrath of the Lich King realms with roots going back over a decade. It still pulls in thousands of daily players across all realms, making it the go-to choice for anyone craving Wrath, with options for higher XP rates or even just a Blizz-like experience depending on the realm. The old school RuneScape private server scene has always been massive, but also extremely unstable. In the past year, Jagex have been especially aggressive with takedowns, partially because they had planned to launch their own...
I mean, I sorry to pause in the RuneScape part, I was thinking about the WoW section. It makes sense to play a private server when it's the only way you can play it. Like, it makes a lot of sense. Like, players want Classic Plus. They literally can't have it or don't have it yet, so they're like, okay, well, we'll find a way where we can get it then. Like, we'll play Turtle WoW or whatever until like Blizzard does it. I think if Blizzard does an official Classic Plus, Turtle WoW would be hurting, right? Because I think a lot of players would flock to it. If it absolutely sucked and everyone ended up quitting, then maybe not. But if it was like even solid enough, I think players would want to play the official one. And I think it also makes a lot of sense with Warmane. Like, for a long time, PvPers wanted to play Wrath or PvEers, whatever, and there was no Wrath servers. Actually, right now there's no Wrath servers. So it's like, if you want to play Wrath, there's only one place to get it. Like, you play Warmane, you play the private server, even though it's like against TOS. It's like, well, if you want to play it, it's the only way to play it. It makes sense. I have a harder time wrapping my mind around players that just play like just normal classic realms, or like, say Wrath is already out, like Wrath Classic is like out, like it will be in like another year and a half or whatever, and then players just choose the classic realm anyway. And I guess it's something with like free to play, sense of community, smaller devs, like some of the stuff you mentioned, but like that seems like a little more niche to me. But yeah, it makes a lot of sense if players want something and it's literally just not offered. It's like, yeah,
An official community server program, Project Xanaris, which was unfortunately shelved. But during that time, Jagex went super hard on shutting down RSPS, with popular servers like RuneWild and ICOV being forced to close or rebrand. Even so, the scene refuses to die. New servers keep popping up with...
I was on a walk with my wife this morning, and I was talking to her about old school RuneScape, and I'm sure she was really interested. She asked me what a rune was, and I didn't really know what to say. Like, it's like a material to cast a magic spell. I don't know if romantic. Yeah, thanks, man. Is that, what would you guys, it's a rock with a symbol? Like, what is a rune? Like, I'm pretty sure it's like some type of resource to cast a spell, right? Yeah, it's a rock with a rune carved into it. It's a symbol. Okay, so it's a rune. It's a rune. Okay, I knew that.
A few top contenders being Reason, Allura, August, Impact, and Ferox, each drawing in thousands of players daily. So far, we've looked at private servers for games that are officially still alive, but let's take a detour to look at a few preservation servers for MMOs that were shut down years ago.
So these make a lot of sense.
Some of these servers have been running for a very long time, and I bet a lot of you aren't aware that they're still playable for free to this day. Warhammer Online officially shut down back in 2013, but the private server Return of Reckoning has been keeping the game alive ever since. It's been running over 10 years now with thousands of active players, and actually has a development team that's still adding brand new content, balance updates, and events to this day.
That's pretty cool.
I've actually covered the Return of Reckoning server twice on my channel in the past, and every time I mention it I see nothing but positivity in the comments. Looking at their YouTube channel, they were still pushing new content as recently as a month ago, so maybe check this one out.
Cool. Yeah,
Ultima Online is one of the first true MMORPGs and has always had a thriving scene of what the community calls free shards. These are basically private servers that the official developers have generally allowed to exist as long as they don't make money. The biggest free shard today is UO Outlands. Launched in 2018, it has become one of the most popular ways to play Ultima Online in 2025, and I even covered it recently in a first impressions video. Since then, they've actually revamped the new player experience based on my feedback, which is super cool.
When did Ultima Online drop? Why did I never play this? Am I just like a little too young or something? I'm 32. I was born in 1993. Oh, it was released in 97. So yeah, I was only 4. Guess that makes sense. Because I was like, I never played, I've heard of it, but I've never like watched or played this.
To see.
I was a little too young.
UO Outlands is free, features tons of custom content and quality of life updates, and regularly pulls in thousands of...
That feels nice to say. Too young. Yeah, I guess I'm just too young.
Players. Definitely one I can recommend. EverQuest is one of the most influential MMOs of all time, and thanks to Project 1999, you can still play the original classic version of the game as it was in the early years, up through the Velios expansion. The server has been running since 2009, and unlike most, actually has an official agreement with Daybreak Games, meaning it's fully allowed to exist as long as it stays non-profit. It's completely free to play, has a healthy population of thousands of players, and has become the go-to way to experience classic EverQuest. Star Wars Galaxies is one of the most talked about shut down MMOs, officially closing in 20...
I never played EverQuest either, which I feel like, dude, one of these days, I kind of want to try, like, I should do a series where I just like try all of these super old school MMOs. Check out Warhammer, check out Ultima, check out EverQuest, even if it's just to log on for like 8 hours, run around, make a character, and to see what they're about. Like, that would be kind of fun.
2011, just before the Old Republic launched. To this day, I still hear people gush about how good this game was back in the day, but thanks to private servers, it's never truly been gone. The two biggest private servers are SWG Legends and SWG Restoration. Legends is based on the game's later years after it was redesigned into a more traditional MMO, while Restoration recreates the original sand.
Bro, I'm gonna write that down as a note to myself. Try all the old school MMOs like Warhammer, Ultima Online, EverQuest, etc. That sounds like actually really fun, because I just love MMOs so much. Just checking out all of the old ones, because bro, I played RuneScape obviously, then I played WoW obviously, but I haven't checked out like a lot of the old school ones. You know, that would be fun.
Box version, where you could build a house, run a business, or become a dancer in Mos Eisley if you wanted to. Both servers are still alive in 2025, free to play and actively maintained. I might be checking out one of these for myself soon, as I never actually played it back in the day.
Yeah, exactly.
City of Heroes is a superhero MMO that shut down back in 2012, with many fans calling the closure premature, since the game was still fairly popular at the time. Players begged NCSoft to bring it back, but nothing happened for years. Private servers eventually emerged to keep the game alive, with Homecoming rising as the most popular. What makes this one stand out is that in 2024, NCSoft officially licensed Homecoming, transforming it from a fan-run underground project into an officially sanctioned way to play City of Heroes. It's still free to play, gets updates and seasonal events, and even added a brand new server shard as recently as this year. Disney's Toontown.
We got a Sun Glitters raid. I'm gonna pause this react. Thank you to Sun Glitters. I hope you had a great stream. I just watched a clip of you dying earlier. It was hilarious. I'm sorry though. I'm assuming you're going again. I'm hoping you're enjoying Ultra as much as I am. It's such a fun time, but we'll get back to this, all right? And we'll get to leveling soon as well.
Online ran from 2003 until it was shut down in 2013, but fans recreated it almost immediately with Toontown rewritten in 2014. Over a decade later, it's still going strong and has become one of the most popular MMO private servers in existence. In 2024, Toontown...
I feel like I briefly remember Toontown commercials as a kid. Am I making that up? Like, I feel like I remember watching TV and I got like a Toontown ad. Is that what I'm thinking of? Me Too? Yeah, they had ads. Yeah, I feel like I totally remember watching these as a kid.
Rewritten reportedly had over 2 million registered accounts and between 10,000 to 50,000 daily active users, which puts it on par with mid-tier official MMOs. What's especially wild with this one is that it's the only private server I've ever seen that hosts real-world conventions every year called Toonfest, where developers and fans meet up in person to celebrate the game. WildStar was an action combat sci-fi MMO that shut down in 2018 after only 4 years online. I'm still sad about WildStar because it was a genuinely fun MMO with a unique combat system and a lot of personality. Despite being a game many MMO fans pine over, there actually isn't a content-complete private server available for this one.
Oh, there isn't?
The closest thing we have is a project called Nexus Forever, which I've covered on the channel in the past, but it only has a few zones and limited content. Terra on PC shut down back in 2022. It is still playable officially on console, but to play on PC you're going to have to play via a private server. There's a few to choose from, but it seems like the most popular one recently has been Terra Classic, which aims to preserve the original experience without the later years of heavy monetization. As of making this video though, it seems the server was recently hit with a security breach, so it's temporarily offline until systems are updated. There are other Terra private servers, but from the info I found online, they don't seem to be super active. ArchAge's official Western servers shut down in 2024, but long before that, the private server ArchAge had already been running as a popular alternative since 2017. It's free to play, has custom tweaks to cut back on pay to win, and still pulls in thousands of players at peak. With the retail game gone, ArchAge has basically become the go-to way to experience ArchAge in 2025. Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean Online shut down back in 2013, but was brought back with a fan-made recreation called The Legends of Pirates Online that's still playable.
Bro, am I wrong to say that most games that are made from movies, or I should maybe say MMOs or games in general made from movies, end up flopping? Like, they're fun, they're nostalgic, or not nostalgic, but you know, it's exciting because you already know the universe and the characters and stuff, but then they end up flopping. Cash grabs? Yeah, kinda. I feel like a lot of like Star Wars games, Pirates games, like, I'm trying to think of one that was like really successful. I don't know. I feel like they all end up flopping at some point. Like, I don't know.
To this day, I've never actually heard of this.
GoldenEye is like the 007 GoldenEye. Okay, sure, that's different. Not a single other one. SWTOR, are you guys saying SWTOR is still alive? Like, still, I don't know. Like, I guess it was still pretty big, or like it was pretty big for a while.
one until researching this video, so I'm curious to check it out for myself. Raiders was one of the first true action combat MMOs alongside Terra that shut down back in 2015. It's still fully playable to this day with private servers like Raiders Global and Raiders Revolution. I actually covered one of these private servers on the channel back in 2021, and I remember being quite impressed with the game as it was quite ahead of its time. Elion was an action combat steampunk MMO that launched in the West on October 20th, 2021, only to shut down less than 14 months later on December 6th, 2022. Elion died extremely quickly, but you can still play it to this day with the private server iElion, preserving the game for anyone curious to try. Whilst researching this video, I realised the MMO private server rabbit hole goes deeper than I'd ever imagined. In fact, there's entire websites dedicated to ranking private server popularity via voting systems. Other popular MMOs with active private server communities include MapleStory, Lineage 2, Aeon, Habbo Hotel, Metin 2, Night Online, and honestly, too many to even list.
Sheesh.
But you get the point. Most MMOs, dead or alive, have some kind of private server community, with some of them making big money through donations or their own pay-to-win cash shops. Either way, you should always do your own research and due diligence before ever playing a private server, especially the lesser known servers where the risk of malware or stolen account details are much higher.
Yeah.
With that said, I hope you enjoyed the video today and learned a bit about the MMO private server scene. I'm sure there's a few I forgot to mention, so if you can think of any other popular ones I missed in this video, then let me know about it in the comments below. This vid took a lot of work to make, so please help us out with a like for the algorithm.
We already sent them the like.
If you're depressed about the state of the MMO genre and need a bit of hope, then click the video on screen to check out every upcoming MMO in 2025 and beyond. Social media on screen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Massive W, man. Lazy Peon, bangers. Guys, why are MMOs just the best genre ever? Is anyone else thinking this in the video? Like, when I'm watching this, I'm like, holy crap. MMOs are the best, man. Like, they're just so fun. You log in and you're just like in another world, and it's like you run around and do whatever the heck you want to do. And it's like, oh, I don't know. Is it just me? Am I just a sap for MMOs? They're just my favorite genre by a mile. RPG is right after it, but MMO is like an elevated concept of an RPG. I feel like it's online. So darn good, man. Have I seen this upload? Every upcoming MMO?
It's been about a year.